The Happy Warrior Podcast. Conservative commentary on the news of the day from a more positive perspective.
Well, hey everybody. Good morning. Good day. No, it's afternoon. My mornings start late. Good to be back here. This is the Happy Warrior Podcast.
Woo!
Now in color, on video. Well, it's in color depending on if you tetrachromated or not. Here in the studio with Robert Melling.
Hello.
It's good to have Robert here back again. It's good to be back in the
house.
Yeah, it's different. I enjoy it both ways. I enjoy it on audio. I enjoy it doing it in the studio, in video. It's just a different style, different take. We thought we'd keep it pretty light, pretty easy today. So today, very little hard news, if any hard news. All fun. All happy, no warrior.
So, let's see. We want to jump into the first story I've got from you here is this bees story.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, the most important news I think that I found all week was this story. I think none in higher priority. So some of you have heard about the Monsanto Roundup stuff. Well, right, this kind of buzzed around part of the balloon. This is the best story. I think of this. I think of. Do you know the Harold and Kumar movies?
Yes.
They're not my cup of tea, but that's what I think of when I think of this story. So.
So wait, is Monsanto like Harold and Kumar, or is the bees Harold and Kumar?
I think the bees are the Harold and Kumar. Okay, so the story is. So you remember this goes back a couple of years about the bees. What's going on with the bees?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg told me that they're dying, and then all those people killed themselves, and M. Night Shyamalan made money. I'm very scared and confused.
No, everyone was on. Everyone from Doctor Who to Nicolas Cage. This story. So I guess the bees they have a problem.
They're dying.
And they might need a 12-step program. This story is true. So this is from the Telegraph. It says that bees are becoming addicted to pesticides in the same way humans grow dependent on cigarettes.
Wild.
I know. So apparently the bees, they like the pesticide. It feels, I don't know, they say it feels like nicotine, or that's kind of what it feels like they're suggesting here. So I don't know. I've never smoked.
The more of the nicotine-like chemicals they consume. Wow. I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
That's, now I can't get this image out of my head of bees sitting around smoking. It's like, there's not enough nectar for the queen. It's like, well, it's because we're all taking smoke breaks every 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're on a smoke break.
Oh, I'm sorry. Worker bees are female. It's because we're all taking smoke breaks every 15 minutes. There you go.
Man, that's some good royal jelly right here.
Controversial neonicotinoid. Wow, that is a new word. And I know I slaughter the pronunciations of words, but I think that's actually the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, I think it is neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid?
Yep.
Neonicotinoid.
The pesticides are chemically similar to nicotine,
Who?
the addictive compound in tobacco. Who came up with that? Was it just like somebody on their smoke break was like, okay, Jonathan, we've got 15 minutes to the big presentation on our new pesticide. We're going to use nicotine. It's like, brilliant! Well, a small yet sizable raise.
Well, I mean, so the story talks about that. I don't know if I would love to know how who figured this out first to look for this. But they say that when they put sugar on a table next to some other sugar. One sugar has pesticide on it, the other doesn't. They found that the bees preferred the pesticide one over the other one. In fact, over time, they greatly preferred the pesticide sugar over the other one.
Dang.
Which is very interesting to know.
I don't even know where to go with that. I'm kind of just like, dang.
Oh man, it must be pretty good to be a bee. They're just sitting back.
Bees, man. Bees.
You know what Nicolas Cage said about the bees, Robert?
Yes.
What did
he
say?
The bees.
Not
the bees. He screamed it over and over again as they poured bees over his head. Funny story with that meme. I have a a sister who I was sitting at the breakfast table with. It was like my parents and my sister, who's like my oldest sister, who's like in her 40s, and I burst out laughing because someone sent me that meme of Nicolas Cage getting the bees dumped on him from the Wicker Man remake, and
I love
oh
that
my gosh, I laughed because it just hit me just right. It was one of those jokes where it's just like just at the right time and place or whatever. So I just laughed, and I was like practically crying laughing, and with the tables just kind of like looking at me, and finally Julie's like, what's so funny? And so I bring it over to them, the three of them, show that to them. Well, why are those awful people pouring bees on that man? And not funny at all, just totally like fall flat on your face, like not funny. And what's funny is that Julie was looking at me like I'm an axe murderer or something, like I was delighting in his suffering or something, like that's not the context at all.
Oh yeah, no, trying to describe I've done that. I tried, like, some meme gets to like a mom or a grandparent, my grandma.
Oh boy.
Like, oh, I can't.
You're digging a hole at that point.
Oh boy, no, you don't understand. There's no point. There's no point. You just have to suffer through it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh man, even the internet can't seem to handle it. Man, those are actually those bees. They fell into that hat pretty well.
Those CGI bees. I like how the CGI bees are giving him a beard.
With painted honey all over Nicolas Cage's chin. That's what they don't tell you.
Yeah.
If you watch the Wicker Man DVD, the special edition Wicker Man
with
DVD.
The director commentary.
That's right.
And it's like, for this scene, I didn't have the money for CGI bees, so I just rubbed some honey on his neck.
I believe it. I believe it.
We insisted that we use a stuntman, but Mr. Cage would have none of it.
I don't. I do all my own stunts. Oh, that is an underrated movie. I love that movie. I saw it in a hotel one time. Like, you know, you're stuck with like 20 channels, and one of them probably was Showtime or something at the middle of the night, 2 a.m. I wake up to, because we let's leave the TV on while I sleep, and I wake up to it, and it's Wicker Man. Nice.
It's quite the thing to wake up to.
Oh, I think it's pretty great. I remember right that same time. I think I don't know. This is like after Shyamalan was big, and people hadn't found out that Shyamalan isn't very good at his job.
You're right. It was back in the. Because, like, this was even probably, like, an effort to cash in on Shyamalan popularity.
Yeah, that's right. Lady in the Water had just come out, and I saw it, and it was the trailer. The trailer for Wicker Man was in them.
Nice.
Another underrated classic.
So, I'm like a small child wandering into a minefield. Wow, that's a terrible metaphor. I've got all these links from you, and all right.
We don't need this next one. Go to the one for Vice. This one is crazy.
Okay.
So did you see this one? Vice.
Bee Cop?
Yes. There are three things. Three things are awesome about this story. Number one, there is such a thing as a NYPD bee cop. Number two.
Yeah, the implications for this universe, just in the fact that there is a bee cop, is kind of.
Well,
God damn, I want that title. Like, just on my LinkedIn profile, I don't want to actually do that for a living, but just to be like, yeah, I was a bee cop. Back in the day.
Bee cop, beat cop.
Beat cop, yes.
Yeah, so this is crazy. So in New York, someplace in New York, if I was a New Yorker, I'd recognize it, but I'm not a New Yorker.
I think it was in Times Square, I thought I'd heard.
Yeah. They say 35 to or more than 40,000 bees swarmed a hot dog stand. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Times Square, and they have footage of it thanks to Reuters. I always want to say Reuters, but it's Reuters.
Yeah, it's Reuters. I do the same thing.
Okay, go to the video. Just link down there. There it is. Look at this. Now I like this picture because it looks like almost forced perspective, like a Disney would do.
Yeah.
And theme parks looks like this giant man vacuuming these bees. Anyhow, here, play the video, if you would. Playing this video, you agree to Twitter's cookies.
Surrender your soul to Twitter.
What was your soul worth? Was your soul worth that bee video?
Kinda. No. I keyed. But
No regrets.
seriously, he's just vacuuming those bees. I thought they had to, because like vacuuming bugs will kill them, or it must be a special vacuum maybe.
I don't know.
Because I've vacuumed flies like that at a pig farm before, and it murdered the heck out of those flies. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even sure there's a PETA for flies. Like, I'm not even sure PETA is willing to put themselves out there for flies.
No, all you got to do is release 30,000 of them into their corporate office, and believe me, they will not care about fly lives. Won't matter that day.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Reminds me of that story at the beginning of the summer of the fish protesters.
Yes.
With their signs that says, what was it? Fish have rights too.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh man, no. Yeah, that 35,000 bees, that would give me a heart attack.
Oh my gosh! So they have a full on. Vice has a full on interview.
You have an interview with
the bee cop. I guess if I met someone with that job title, I'd have to interview them immediately on the spot too.
He's a sweet.
Wait.
He has a sweet Tom Selleck mustache, so he could be on Blue Bloods.
He does. He kind of looked like a Blue Bloods character.
I love that show. I don't really. My mom loves it, so every now and then.
It's CBS. All our moms love it.
It's pretty sad. On the newest season of Blue Bloods, they killed off the mom character, and they even kill her off on screen. They said she died. They made her first helicopter nurse, and then they say she died in a crash. They didn't even do it on screen. I was like,
oh, that's
lame.
Ow. It's like that show's budget must not be great.
Okay,
show us something, news.
Yeah. Oh well. My mom is a huge Tom Selleck fan, so anything Tom Selleck, everything Tom Selleck. All right, so this is apparently we not only live in the same universe as the Wicker Man, but we also seem to live in the same universe as Back to the Future, which is a thing I can get behind.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. Okay, so
you just play the.
Sorry, I read the headline. I'm playing the video. I read the headline and was dumbfounded.
And Hazelden told us that he believes the issue was with a defective flux capacitor, though the NTSB wouldn't comment on any potential cause today. Go Skydive Boston didn't respond to a written request for comment. We're live in Hanson. I'm Catherine Bertram, Boston 25 News.
That's the best. Someone pranked her because that was pretty good.
20-year-old pilot. Okay, so the pilot, the 20-year-old who crash landed the plane, told her that, well, there was a defective flux capacitor as the possible cause of the crash.
That is awesome.
I have to one more time.
And Hazelden told us that he believes the issue was with a defective flux capacitor, though the NTSB wouldn't comment on any potential cause today.
She didn't even say it right.
Boston didn't respond to a written request for comment.
That's
We're live in
great.
Hanson. I'm Catherine Bertram, Boston 25 News. Catherine.
The next time I crash something.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, was your reporter just pranked? Because I'm pretty sure your reporter just said faulty flux capacitor.
Oh, that's painful. That's funny.
God, man, I think that's a good one. Well played. Well played. You got me on that one.
Yeah, that one got me pretty loud. I don't even remember what this one is there. Look at.
Shall we?
Wall of links.
I was standing on the edge of my toilet, hanging a clock. The porcelain was wet. I slipped
Well done.
on the edge of the sink, and when I came to, I had a revelation, a vision, a picture in my head, a picture of this. This is what makes time travel possible.
Shield eyes from light.
What's the capacitor?
They're both looking at it, but it says shield eyes from light.
Oh, I know, and it's not that bright, so it doesn't make any sense. Maybe when it's when it's actually working and it's the big flash of light when they time travel. Maybe I don't know. I'm guessing that not that much thought went into that prop, but
He's still that actor that played Doc. Oh my gosh, I want to say Lloyd something. I'm so bad with names. He's still kicking. I think I saw him the other day in something.
It's weird to see him, but he is alive and he's really tall. Like they played down how tall he is. Yeah, either that or I know Michael J. Fox is a tiny person, but still he was next to some other talk show host. I want to say maybe Colbert or something, because they did a skit where those two actors actually like came out of the back for a little cameo for a few seconds that was talking about time travel, and that's the last time I've seen him, and he looked, I mean, rough, but alive.
That's amazing.
And I just wrote, that's the thing I remember is thinking that his face looked really sunken, and that he was way taller than I'd ever imagined he was in real life.
All right, so what time are we at right here?
17 minutes.
17
so we got good time yet.
All right. Okay. So before we move on, I did a review on my last episode about Disenchantment, and I know that you're also a big fan of Groening's creation. So what did you think of it? Did you get a chance to watch all 10 of them?
Yes, I just finished it. I like it. It's good. I am willing to. It's not great. I am willing to give it a chance and see where it goes from here, because I feel like, especially in those last 3 episodes, that it really started to actually hit a stride and start turning into something. Some of those first few episodes are super, especially once you see where those 3 end up, seem like super aimless. Like, why didn't we just jump right to this? Because this seems like the actual like meat of the plot and character development for these characters.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I enjoyed it a lot. For fun, I decided to read some of the reviews of other people. I'm pretty bad at that. I read reviews and wiki before I watch something. It's a terrible habit, but
yeah, because they almost all of them spoil it anymore.
Yeah, no, I blame that back in the day, Dragon Ball Z, when the actual show had like been aired in 1992, and we were finding out about it in 2004 or whatever.
Yeah.
And my family was like, yeah, that happens. Vegeta and Bulma, they have a kid, and so I mean, it complete spoiled me for spoilers. Oh no, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent.
Nah, you're fine.
I liked it. I like Futurama. I felt like I could see the connections to Futurama, because Futurama, especially in the later stuff, liked to play around with your emotions a little bit. I thought that they didn't just Cham do it. I think you're right about the later episodes where Disenchantment found its footing and how it worked, and it felt good. It felt like the early shows were more about trying to look what we can do. We're not on cable.
There's a bit of world building and a bit of like, look what we can get away with because we're not. Yeah, like I said, we're not on cable anymore, and that's part of it. Like Matt Groening did an interview that I listened to or read. I think I read it actually. It might have been Hollywood Reporter or something. Anyway, and he talked about how he saw this as his big opportunity to get into more long form storytelling and stuff. So I have a feeling he has like a full on arc that we're going into and stuff. I'm just kind of like, why didn't we get to the arc a little bit sooner? Maybe he's like getting used to the pacing of having all those episodes to work with to tell one giant story. But so I think it's going to be promising, but I think there's a lot of like pacing and figuring out stuff in these first few episodes, and I think that's why it's getting blistered pretty bad in the reviews from a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people are where I'm at, where they're just kind of like, well, I like it and I'm going to give it a chance, but expectations were so high because this is the next Futurama, this is the Simpsons, and the pedigree that it had. I didn't realize how many people from Futurama are made it back. Like I was just like, I wonder if ex-Cohen is involved, and he is as a producer, and Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, Joe DiMaggio is King Zog. I enjoyed that.
Zog. And I didn't realize that until like the second episode, and I was like, oh, that is him. Okay. Who is? Well, Billy West can do like 100 voices. Which characters are Billy West?
Billy West was a couple of the guards. He didn't have like a main character, because I read that too, and I was like,
isn't he the vizier though? That's got the
that's
eyes?
right. I think you're right.
I think that's his biggest part.
Yeah, because he does his what's his name? The professor. Yeah, the scientist Futurama.
He's done it in other, like in Futurama, but other episodes where they need like an advisor or a vizier or a official of some kind. He has this voice that's kind of nasally, like this, kind of like thing. And so, I'm doing a little too Italian mobster kind of there, but kind of, if you watch the show, you see the guy in purple with 3 eyes. that'll
Yeah.
that'll be clear.
Yeah,
to you.
he played more like because Billy West is like Joe DiMaggio. There's a cadre of like the best voice talent in Hollywood, and he's in that circle.
Yeah, but by far. If you ever want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes on how many voices he can do, he did a podcast. He hasn't put out any new episodes in a long time, but the Billy West podcast.
I need to look this up.
I will warn you. There's a lot of like it's just him, and it can get pretty
Rough.
vulgar and rough, but. It sounds like he's got a voice cast of 50 people, but it's just all Billy West sitting in a room talking to himself, which is kind of disturbing the more I think about it, and just kind of like, is he okay?
No, those are actually he's actually got like 50 different people living in his head.
I assume as much.
Yeah, no, that goes back. That's an old Hollywood had these guys that's what they cranked out. You know, the guys that did Looney Tune was like a cast of 3 people.
Oh yeah,
and I can't think of his name now. He passed away, and it actually
Chuck Jones.
Chuck Jones, that's right.
There you go.
And the cast of people that Warner Brothers had to hire to replace Chuck Jones is crazy. I mean, he has a son that can do pretty solid most of them, but they still need to get like replacements to get close to the voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, sorry, that was a giant tangent. I don't.
No, we're fine. We're talking about cartoons. Tangent away.
See, I'm kind of a man child. That a big focus of my life. I like to focus on politics and news and what going on in the world that actually affects the world. And the other half is the child part, where spends way too much time with cartoons or whatever else I like to enjoy.
You know, but that's the thing is, I think that's partially. I don't know, I want to say it's just a product of our era. It's like we're all that way. But I mean, and the internet has like amplified it, but I think it's only just showing us something that's always been there. Because I mean, you think about it, like World War II pilots, they put, on the sides of their plane, they put ladies, and they put cartoon characters. It was always like Bugs Bunny or Mickey or something like that. Graffiti, even ancient graffiti from like ancient Rome and stuff like that, you'd see like, well, this is Hercules punching a guy or something like that. You know, it's like they had their common stories and myths and stuff like that, and these recurring like tropes, and they were just as obsessed with them. They just didn't have this gigantic digital hive mind to help them express that, like in real time across time and space. You know.
No, I think the amount of people that know the name Gary Gygax, because you had a post about Gary Gygax the other day, I was like, the amount of people that actually know who Gary Gygax is huge. Like, you look at the people that are in Dungeons & Dragons, I went to an LDS, Young Single Adult activity, so it was all Latter-day, Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, or Mormons, whatever name you want to use. And there are these gals, the rather popular gals, that were just talking about Dungeons & Dragons. I was like, Dungeons & Dragons. You know, I was thinking 10 years ago, you know, there was no one with a BMI under, that like Dungeons & Dragons. Not many. Many. Or if they were, it was very unhealthy. It wasn't a healthy weight. It was an unhealthy, lack of eating kind of problem. And it was
nerds, so it wasn't always necessarily a weight thing. It was social underdogs and outcasts, stuff like that. You know, the 80s stereotypical nerds, jocks kind of dynamic. The one that, as I was talking on my previous shows here, the dynamic that has basically died as a result of the rise of the internet. I decided when my brother does some football coaching, and I decided the time I hung out with him and his kids and the like quarterback and all the like cool who would be the cool kids on the football team are all talking about Instagram and their latest app and downloads and using words like that. I hear that coming out of their mouth and talking about social media, and I'm just kind of like, the nerds won, and they won hard.
The nerds did, didn't they? I mean, they controlled society.
Yep.
At least here in the West.
Just ask Trump about it. The Google algorithm and all that.
That's right.
They control everything.
Oh, I was going to leave the hard news out. I was going to talk about that next week, but this one was awful. All right, so let's move on. We probably ate half our time there just talking about nerdisms alone. which is fine.
We're fine. We're at 27.
Fine. All right. Let's move on. We'll skip whooping cough. Other than this, get vaccinated. I think this is one of the few things that people on the left and the right agree on anymore, is the vaccine thing. I don't know how that happened, but I was listening to Sawbones, the medical history podcast.
Oh, that's a good show.
And, that is one of those underrated... Actually, I don't think it's underrated. It's a very successful podcast right now. They're coming out with a book even. But they were talking about vaccines. And, that was one of the few things that people, I feel, from any side, can really agree on, is get vaccinated.
Yeah. I think that came from... Part of it is that it originated on the left, the anti-vax movement. And so I think you get into... like the left points out on the right people who are like on climate change who would just totally deny like science that gets laid out in front of them. But this is like the left's answer to it. It's like they think they have the monopoly on, well, we're reason and logic and science. And it's like, but, don't eat, genetically modified food.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it's kind of the extreme left's version of Alex Jonesism.
Yes, exactly.
Alex Jones, in fact, I'm not an Alex Jones aficionado, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like in his wheelhouse.
It is. Yeah, he is a anti-vaxxer, and he, part of it is he sells like nascent iodine and stuff like that, and will tell you that will like protect you from
unregulated, unverified Alex Jones supplements.
Will
his
protect
testosterone supplement. I hear that's very effective.
Keep your frogs from turning gay. I guess.
We got Alex Jones.
I'm sorry, I'm foreshadowing.
We're moving too fast. We're moving too fast.
It's just foreshadowing. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, Alex Jones, my life. See, that's if I want whooping. My grandmother's brother had polio pretty bad, and she knew kids that got polio that got the iron lung, the whole treatment.
Holy cow!
Yeah, her brother barely made it out. Now he eventually fully recovered. Which is awesome. But she can remember when this was a big problem.
Have you ever seen that Vox documentary about the one guy they know of left that's in an iron lung?
I did. He's a lawyer.
Yep.
He's a pretty successful lawyer from what they showed.
Well, he's got a lot of time on his hands to
true.
study the law.
Not a lot of distractions, apparently.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, get vaccinated. Those diseases didn't go away. We just, because the mass population was vaccinated, no one got it. And if it's not like, there's a misnomer. You can think, well, I just won't get vaccinated, and therefore only I'm in danger, or my kid won't vaccinate, only our kid is in danger. But that's not how it works. The more people that don't get vaccinated, the greater it is that we bring back some of these eradicated diseases, like whooping cough, which we're finding now. Which is it's kind of embarrassing, actually.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like clean water. It's like there's a great meme that says the U.S. has so much clean water that we even poop in it. It's like we have these amazing inventions and standards that we take for granted, and in just a continent away, they dream of what we have.
Yeah, and we just don't. I don't appreciate how good we have it. And it's trite to say that, and everybody says that, but it's really true. You don't appreciate all the blessings we have, as a society and as a civilization. But
all right.
Getting less serious, let's do some awesome animal stories.
All right, so I have the best collection of animal stories I could find that were SFW. There were animal studies that were NSFW. I did not know that was a thing. Especially among the British press.
I'm not going to ask. I'm just not going to go there.
I went to like the UK Telegraph and some of the other British newspapers, and there was like weird animal stories. I was like, whoa, man.
Too weird.
All right, so here's the thing. Okay, so you know what stocking a lake is. So some people are stupid like me that used to believe that trout were always in this man-made body of water. They've always been there. And you never have to do anything. They're just naturally there.
There are natural species.
Yeah, that's true. But
most of the game fish that you're probably going for when you're fishing, depending on where you fish, especially around here, if you're going to the Missouri River, everything you're eating and catching is a transplant of some kind.
Yeah.
But Yeah, this was awesome video. I saw this on a few different sites this week of them doing an air. This is something I didn't know they did. An aerial restocking of fish.
Yeah.
This is taking place in Utah. How does that not kill the
That's
fish?
what my grandma said when I showed her the video.
I always like when we throw back a fish or something like that, I've always been told not to like toss it and
Yeah, I
on
know.
the surface of the water and get it and sting it or something like that or be cruel. And then these guys are just like, we're over the drop zone, I guess. Little windy, but what the heck? Burp.
Yeah,
And just like dump fish out of an airplane.
Yeah, you know
What a
that,
bad day to be out on a boat. Or maybe a good day if
Oh,
you
and then
survive
they
it.
get the planes get it wrong, and they're like, it's a heavy fishing day.
Oh.
Oh, that'd be.
Or it's like a beach.
Oh, whoops, our bad. Yeah, with fishing, with my I'm so bad. I'm like, my grandpa likes fishing. He's legitimately good at it. I have a brother that's really good at it. I never, if there's, I don't know what you call it. The green thumb is for gardening, so I don't know what you call it for a fish. The fish thumb.
He's an angler.
Angler? Thank
Yep.
you. Yeah, no. And so when I do the catch release, like, it's like if there was a government's ethics panel, they check to make sure prisons aren't abusing their prisoners when they catch and release them or whatever. I would fail that. I would fail the fish version, because my fish, by that time I get like them off the hook and get them back into the water.
That's crazy. They're saying that that this is actually, because it's fast, that's the key, actually shocks the fish way less, because then it's just a few hours on an airplane,
What?
as opposed to how they used to do it with like train cars and trucks, and that because they were getting moved around so much and between different containers and everything. I guess that's my theory anyway, because they don't go into a lot of detail here.
Yeah.
but-
It says there at the bottom, and using an airplane stresses the fish less. That means more of them will survive their fall in the water. Huh. Well,
That's crazy.
all right. Will you play one of? You have two choices. You have aerial stalking Utah 1, and you have aerial stalking Utah 2.
Two. Let's try one. Okay, airplane is coming in. Oh! Yeah, that just looks mean. And
It looks like a fish missile. Because it's.
I'm just carefully watching it now for a fish to like fall out, like now that they're over land, because you know it happens.
Most of this video is just a plane flying. The fish part is like.
Yeah, it happens fast.
That's kind of cool. I kind of want that job a little bit.
Yeah, that is a fun one.
All right, so.
Dogs break up a cat fight.
Yes. I need this.
What
in
kind
my
of cat
house.
fight is this? Is this getting into the not safe for work?
No. This is furry.
Oh, an
safe for
actual
work.
cat fight. Sorry, mind in the gutter. There we go. Good boy doesn't let a fight break out. Okay, so I'm seeing a video with a cat,
Okay,
and all of
here's
these
a cat.
are linked in the show notes. So be
Yeah,
sure to
so
check
you
out our
want
little
yourself
links
sit there.
for it.
Look, it's a golden retriever, a cat. It just walks off
That's
with a cat.
crazy.
We're going this way.
That's crazy. And the cat put up with it.
I know.
So the golden retriever retrieved this cat
It did.
by grabbing its collar there.
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
and just like carried it back to the front door of the property. It's just like, no, you don't get to fight with that other kid.
We don't talk to them.
Yeah, come inside. You quit fighting with those boys. You come inside.
Really,
You know,
it's
"Aw,
it's
Mom."
the dog cat version of Romeo and Juliet. They're not allowed to talk to the other family.
Oh, so it's like a Capulet Montague cat.
That's right. We don't talk to them. They live on the wrong side of the tracks.
God.
I like that one.
It's the live action remake of what's the movie? Oh no, I'm spacing.
It's not West Side Story. I know what you're.
No, with the Oliver and Company, the old Disney movie.
Oh yeah. I think it's just called Oliver, isn't it?
I think it's in Company because if it's just Oliver, then it doesn't.
It's with the guy that says, "I want some more, sir," and then the
No,
guy's like,
no, that's-
no, wrong one. I'm thinking of the wrong one."
They chose the name Oliver because of Oliver Twist, but because he is an orphan and the story is loosely based on Oliver Twist, but this movie was
Oliver and
to
Company.
specifically distinguish it.
Oliver and Company.
There we go. It is Oliver and Company.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I know that. I watched that as a kid.
See, no Mandela effect for me. It is Oliver and Company.
No Mandela effect. That's another subject for another day.
Oh, yes.
That's a classic one. Yeah, there is. You're right. There is a kitten in that one, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Oh my gosh! And then there's that skeezy like business guy, and then there's like this perfectly nice homeless man.
It was every like New York stereotype crammed into one animated adventure.
This dog.
from
I think
Disney.
the dog wears sunglasses at some point.
Oh,
That's
yes.
how great
Oh,
this
yes.
movie is.
Why should I wear that?
No. You want to miss the police officer being chased by a pig. You don't want to miss that.
Oh, no, I don't. Okay, police officer chased by a tiny pig is the headline. Cape Coral Police Department.
So I think it's Florida. This is in
Swine
Florida.
on the loose.
This is why you don't visit Florida.
Well, okay, we're going to pause the video for a moment, and I'm going to tell you a story. The reason Florida gets such a bum rap is because they have very effective transparency laws. So I'd like to point out that while we may mock Florida, this crazy crap is happening all over the country.
They just capture more of it.
Florida is the only state where they're legally forced to allow you to show it.
Interesting. You know, Sioux Falls is getting body cameras.
I heard that.
Yeah.
The pigs are being chased by little pigs. How funny is that?
That's it. That's the whole video. It's just this guy being chased by a little pig. Now, I don't know. It's funnier after you've watched it like 5 times.
By little pigs.
He's saying the pig. This is not my words.
Oh, no.
The pigs are being chased by little pigs.
By little pigs.
The pigs are being chased by little pigs. So wait, is he buying into that? Because that's I don't understand that. That's almost like a communist thing. Like the pigs, the police or the authority. They're the pigs.
I would be interested to know the etymology of the whole referring to law enforcement as pigs.
Is that an animal
old.
farm thing?
It's
or what is that?
it's older than that. It's way old, and I don't know where that comes from.
All right, so I imagine there's a news report start like this: "Are you missing your monkey? Have you tried stopping?
Yes, good sir. I am missing.
Have you tried looking in your local McDonald's?" Oh my god! It doesn't have a video. This one.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna skip the turtle. See, turtle on the high ledge. I thought might be NSFW because what happens if the turtle falls? They now scarred everyone.
Missing monkey turns up at McDonald's in Sweden.
Yes.
So, I take it McDonald's are just as the high standard as the American McDonald's for their
Well, it wasn't like they said the monkey turned up for work at McDonald's.
God, it's funny because you're making me think of is it Taco Bell has got those ads with the monkey riding a dog that.
I remember those. Yeah.
Okay, so my joke with my siblings and stuff was just like, okay, I'll eat. Just like the ad should just be, we promise the monkey didn't touch your taco. I'm just gonna like, as long as you promise the monkey's not touching the food. It grossed me out so bad. So
Man, my brother and his friend Tyler, they have this tradition. Every other Saturday, they go to Taco Bell or Taco John's, I think, and they buy like huge amount of food per person, and they get really sick. It's like the Mormon version of getting wasted, and the bathroom's pretty much occupado for the next day or so.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so I can't really attest to the quality of the food, but that's probably just too much eating more so than quality control.
Yeah, probably. Oof.
All right, so
giant lizard.
Okay, so did you hear this story? Because I found it a lot when I was looking for animal stories. I couldn't get away from said lizard.
No, this is the first time seeing of it.
See, this one even has a news report and everything. Now, it might send you an ad. Fox News they like their ads.
6 feet. That's the size.
We lucked out.
This massive lizard
Look at that thing.
Is terrorizing a family in Davie, Florida. They claim the Asian water monitor is staring into their home.
Right.
Where is this?
Pool. They're also afraid it might.
It's also
their kids.
Florida.
Yes. Professional
Florida.
shoppers have tried
Florida's got an
to
animal thing. All the animal stories come out of Florida now.
They could be more
But I'm just like, how did an Asian monitor lizard... well, I know Florida's having a serious problem with people have pets like that, and then they let them loose, and so they're becoming like an invasive species.
All right. No, we're not doing John McCain. That's
No.
too serious.
Too
It's too
serious. And you
serious.
covered that already, so... Let's see.
Okay, so I will keep going because we're gonna move this thing through. We
Okay.
have to get to Alex Jones.
Okay,
We have to.
we're at 42, so we're good yet.
We're good.
Um,
Okay, so have you heard this story about the snake? Okay, so I'm not now. There are certain religions, predominantly in the southeastern part of the United States, that out of the evangelical movement, do the snake thing. Have you know, I'm down, don't mean to disparage anyone's faith, but this one's always seemed a little dangerous to me.
I on a fairly regular basis make reference to someone's religion is snake handler, and this is a throwback to a very old like second season Simpsons joke where Homer asks Moe, like if he, it's just like, you want to come to church or join my church or whatever, and Moe's like, oh, sigh, Homer. It's like, I was born a snake handler, and I'll die a snake handler. And he holds up his hand, and it's got bite marks all over it.
Yeah, so this I like this story. I shouldn't. It's a snake handler. So he's doing this thing. They hold up the snake, and my brother saw this in Romania. So this isn't just the United States. They have different evangelical religions in Romania. They're proselytizing, and one of them was the snake guys. They had gotten up there, and so he had seen that one time in Romania. So it's not just the United States per se, but that's where the tradition comes out. So yeah, he got American pastor swings deadly snake during service, gets bit.
Oh. And it's an American abroad doing this. Just like anything to make our image that much worse overseas. It's like, great job, guys.
Scenes that some viewers may find distressing. So he's dancing with a snake.
Oh my gosh.
That is... You don't want to be that snake. If I was that snake, I'd bite him too.
Well, who wouldn't? Oh, and in the
Ear. Was it the ear?
God, in the ear. The snake is like, seriously, I bit you. Can you drop me now?
I know. It's like, I did the thing when I usually do the thing.
Oh, wow. He's bleeding a lot
whoa.
from that.
I wonder the rattlesnake. I mean, because is there something in the venom that makes him bleed too? Like it's got an anticoagulant in there.
I don't believe so. Possible, I guess.
That's
It's
good,
hitting
man.
right in the lobe of the ear. Oh my gosh, that's gonna hurt.
I feel bad for him. That is what happens when you get by a rattlesnake, people.
Yeah.
Sad.
In conclusion, snakes are bad.
Yeah.
Don't do snakes.
Yeah, they have that. That's the style they do it too. James, when my brother who served in Ministry Romania, he says this one time, and he doesn't even says, I don't even remember why we were there, but they were at one of these meetings where they do the snake, and they do that. They preach, but they preach like they're in a metal, like a heavy metal rock concert.
Oh, yeah.
It was like I was like, I'm getting a little freaked out. It was like I'm not. Oh man. It's interesting because that's Christianity. It does that is just one facet of the religion, religious tradition, I guess.
I keep saying this. I'm really curious on the history of that, how that got started. Because how do you go from anything to I'm going to handle deadly snakes?
I don't know. I don't get it. That would be a fascinating. That would be a Nat Geo documentary I would watch.
Yeah. Like an episode of Taboo or something on Nat Geo, yeah.
Yeah, after the lady that eats only plates or something.
Yes.
all I do all day is eat China plates.
So we're moving on to some random squirrel facts?
Yeah, so I can't do this right. So for the ultimate animal stories, look up Stuff to Blow Your Mind, and look up, just type in Stuff to Blow Your Mind squirrels. It's their newest 2 episodes. Now, he's showing you the link, what it looks like. I love Stuff to Blow Your Mind. It's one of my favorite podcasts. And it's just about squirrels. And the guys, when they're on it, the host Robert Lamb, Joe McCormick, even says like, yeah, when we started this, we thought this would be kind of like a one-off. There wouldn't be actually that much to cover. No, it's 2 full hour episodes about squirrels. It's fascinating. Did you know, Robert? Did you know that squirrels are carnivores? Did you know that?
I kind of did.
Did you know that they? Okay, you can go this. Did you know that squirrels eat meat, and that even squirrels will fight and eat a snake? Did you know that the squirrels eat snakes?
I knew they'd fight a snake. I didn't, but yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that squirrel go!
The snake is like, okay, I have clearly misjudged this contest.
I know it. Trying to get away, the squirrel's being dragged. It's like, I'm not letting it go.
It makes sense, because I mean, a squirrel is kind of like a mongoose. It's got, this whole fight has a very Ricky Tikki Tavi.
I do.
Good, ref, good. I like Ricky Tikki. So that's a good, well, whatever his name is. You can't pronounce it.
So, is this a poisonous snake?
Yep.
Would that kill the squirrel?
No,
There.
I don't know. That might have killed the squirrel.
Come
The guy doesn't
on.
follow the squirrel so long and waits till it's dead. But basically, squirrels more often will just get carrion more so than attack another animal. But
Sure.
they do, on occasion, attack other animals, usually ones that are smaller than them. Snakes are the exception.
Well-
For whatever reason, squirrels hate snakes like crazy.
I do know that the squirrels can be super, super tough and vicious, because just from squirrel hunting, like trying to get them out of like a corn crib or something like that, they are not to be screwed with. They could like hurt you.
You're relying more on your rural background.
Yes.
See, I don't have any of that. I'm all city mouse, no country mouse.
Yeah, they can get mean when you're like pinned with them and with nothing but a pellet gun in a corn crib.
That reminds me of the Rick and Morty. There's a Rick and Morty episode. This is not an SFW show. I'm just warning you guys. If you haven't, well, I'd be surprised if our listeners didn't know what Rick and Morty was.
Yeah. If you've been living under a rock, Rick and Morty is a science fiction comedy, gross out comedy often, TV show on Adult Swim, which should be your red flag if that's not in your wheelhouse, is that it's on Adult Swim.
Pretty much. There's almost, unless back it was the anime back in the O's.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much all stuff too. There's a great episode though where Rick erases Morty's memories, and so they just look back at old memories that Rick's erased, and one of them are squirrels. Morty's like, I want to talk to animals, Rick. I want to talk to animals. He's like, you don't want to do that, Morty. He's like,
Well, he just thinks it's lame, so he's just kind of like, fine, whatever. He's just like, I've always wanted to talk to animals, and so he's walking around, and all the animals' conversations are pretty mundane and what you'd expect. It's like, bees are just like, you need to collect pollen for the queen, you need to make honey, and then, just like stuff like that, and then he comes up on a tree where he hears these like 3 sinister figures talking, and they turn out to be squirrels up in the tree, and they're just like, they're talking about rigging elections in Venezuela.
That's right.
Appointing a new pope.
Something about the stock market, I think.
Yeah, manipulating the stock market, agitating the oil price, just like every kind of like backroom Illuminati, scary conspiracy kind of thing you can imagine, all crammed into like 3 sentences. And I love it when they're just kind of like, they look up and like, what's up with that little boy? He looks like he can hear us. And then it's like, get Andrea on the phone. We may have a Doolittle.
That's right, we
situation.
may have a Doolittle. Hello, little boy.
Little boy, if you can hear me, I'll give you candy. And then just like more and more squirrels start swarming, and then they have to leave the dimension forever because it's like, you messed with squirrels, Morty. You messed with squirrels.
Objectively, squirrels may be one of the most successful mammal species. They are on every continent except Antarctica. Every continent except Antarctica.
So they're like humans.
And we don't think of them usually, do we?
Nope.
Maybe when we were kids, we're like, it's a cute squirrel. And then you become faded, or no, what's the word I'm looking for? Jaded human. And
Yeah.
they're just like, squirrels, whatever. But squirrels, you don't mess with squirrels. That's,
I know. I don't know why the world is so jaded. I mean, I like to stand out in the yard and point at them and go, "Squirrel! Squirrel!" And then when an airplane goes overhead, go, "Airplane!" Just, why did we become so jaded? God.
I every now and then bird feeding, seeing a squirrel eat food, there is a little bit of enjoyment out of it. I don't know, it's just everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like watching them attack a bird feeder. It's fun.
okay, so I put these links in a pretty good order, I think, here.
Oh man, they
So-
played this Alex
So
Jones
which,
clip on.
so which one should we do first, though? Should we do the mocking McCain one, or should we do the other one?
Let's do this one that I just listened to a podcast this morning that played this and we're talking about it, and I could not stop laughing at it. So I got to hear it again.
His reaction almost makes it worse, really.
It does. Well, that's the whole. That's why it's so funny. Is that it's
it won't let you. Okay, so there's the image of the. Okay, so there should be a video here.
Here we go. Right Wing Watch has got it.
All right.
All this is a societal wrecking ball to destroy any semblance
Dude,
of normality.
he's the ultimate
any semblance
broadcaster.
Of basic human
He's got
biology
all
that
of
you
it. He's
see
got
in
the body,
bees,
he's got
and
the
you
voice.
see in the birds, and you see in the pinnipeds, and you see in all the other major
Pinnipeds?
species of otters.
Oh my gosh.
And of mice, and
The
of
pinnipeds.
cows, and of horses, and of everything else, ladies and
And the
gentlemen.
orangutans and the breakfast
They don't see them
cereals.
out telling pachyderms that it's sexist that there's
Does
a
this
male
actually
bull
have
and a
the-
female cow.
Him talking about
Elephants.
I don't know.
But again, imagine
I don't know if this actually
imagine
has,
a demon outfit showed up
No.
next to a baby giraffe
No, it's
and
worth
said,
it.
"Hi, I'm a demon.
No, it's worth it, trust
be
me.
inclusive. Don't be mean to me. Let me wear demon horns and come up and look like a complete alien from another planet." What
Oh.
a space alien! And by the way, this is a program. They dress up like space aliens all over the United States and all over the world. I
To
told
be
you.
fair, that
You
first one would have
horrible
horrified me as a little
demon
5-year-old.
As a little kid, I'd have been scared. Oh my gosh.
And they show up and they have their way with your children.
They have
in
their way?
demon
Oh my
outfits.
god.
There's
And
a
if
difference
you got
between
men
have
that
their
look
way
like
and
400-pound
read a story.
Goblin demons
Dude, that-
with your
it is a little
children,
bit of goblin
there's nothing
demon. I gotta
you
give him
won't
credit
let.
there.
There isn't a species on the planet that would let something that looks like a space alien get up close to its kids, but only in America does it happen, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it right now. I can handle it more.
Even picks up the chair.
He picked up the chair.
I love it. I love it. See,
See, this falls into the column of the this is all an act, right? Because I mean, he doesn't believe half of what he says, and he's just like he's an entertainer. I mean, kind of like when he was in that custody battle for his kids or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that
his
was
attorney
harsh.
His attorney was just like, no, he's just a performer. He doesn't believe
That
any of
is
this.
right, yeah. And there was a theory going around, and this is one of those YouTube theories it sounds so freaking credible. So remember there was a movie Jim Carrey played this famous comedian that was on Taxi and then he disappeared. I don't watch a lot of comedy, so okay. And he was making the case that
yes, I've heard
Alex
this.
Jones is him. I wish I could pull up the name
Andy
for you.
Kaufman or
Andy
no?
Kaufman, that's right. Yeah, that Andy Kaufman somehow became like he took down that persona and he took up the Alex Jones persona.
Well, I don't know if it's Andy Kaufman.
I'm gonna say Andy Kaufman sounds right. It's it was one of those. See, there it is. Oh, is Bill Hicks?
Bill Hicks.
Sorry, Bill Hicks.
Because if you look at Bill Hicks, like pictures of him and stuff,
Well, yeah.
he looks
Look at-
like
there's
him.
evidence right there. I almost see. It makes me want to believe it almost. Because you're like Alex Jones. You cannot seriously believe
His
this.
facial structure is wrong, though. There's like bones in his face that are not.
Plastic surgery, Rick. Plastic surgery. That's
You
what
you can't
not Rick,
change.
Robert. Sorry.
You can't see. I get too much into this stuff. You can't change like the shape of the eye hole in the skull. You can't like grind the skull down to do that and not go blind. So, I like Mulder want to believe, but I don't think it's that. And if it is him, he hasn't aged either, which would be weird. But
some people don't age. Tom
That's-
Cruise.
That's
Tom
true.
Cruise
Tom
doesn't
Cruise.
age. It's because of Scientology, right?
Well,
They
it's
actually-
either that or that Eye of Osiris amulet that he borrowed from Brett Favre. So yeah.
Well, that's another song. I give you credit for that. Okay, so yeah, so we completely we didn't even bury it. We just ignored it. So Alex Jones got caught with a link. It wasn't a link. It was a page to pornography.
I'm gonna find
site.
the clip because it's gonna be the funniest thing we play if I can find it here.
Yeah. So Alex Jones, and I think, Robert, your problem is you're more in the camp, it seems, that wants to feel sad for Alex Jones. Like, you're like, this poor man, he's got mental illness. Why do they keep letting him go out every night?
The headline for Rolling Stone is porn star Alex Jones is having a weird week.
That would be the worst name.
Oh, this isn't even the story. This is a totally different thing.
The day, 3 links down, though, there's a guy.
Yeah, three links down it is, but you're telling me there really is a porn star named Alex Jones? Because, yeah, this is like 3 weeks ago, but it's like, oh, that would be a weird
That would be
week.
weird. That is weird. That's a subject I don't like talking very much about. I think this kind of skims the topic a little bit. I think I'm comfortable talking about here. Anyhow, so yeah,
So
Alex
where
Jones.
is the... There's words.
No.
That's... Nobody's got the
Disturbed.
video of the... Because they played it on Top Hat this morning. That's
Yeah.
the podcast I was listening to. Abe Lincoln's Top Hat. And they had the clip. Darn it. Audio. That's great radio, by the way. Of Alex.
That's another recommendation, another Robert Melling podcast recommendation. Top Hat.
Yeah, it's okay. I listened to it because I listened to the last podcast on the left, and it's the same guys, and so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. If they get on a topic I don't care for, it's one that I will like. This week I'm going to skip it, but this morning I didn't have anything left in the queue that was like burning need, and I'm so glad I clicked on that episode and heard that clip. Alex Jones.
How do you, Alex Jones denies? I was maybe crooks and liars.
Everybody has porn up on their phone. Okay.
And also,
Oh, that's right. Someone actually asked about our show.
Say that again?
Trans porn on your phone. That's all they keep talking about. And
I saw a couple of news articles about that. It's ridiculous. I was like looking up some reporter we're trying to hire today. And punched in some number, and it popped up porn on my phone. Everybody's had porn pop up on their phones hundreds of times. So I'm sitting there with a phone on air, showing it to everybody because I couldn't get a URL up in the studio. And then like something pops up, like, oh my God. And I looked at it. It wasn't, the news blurred it out because there was nothing there. They blurred it to then say something was there. Then you went to it was some porn menu. I probably had porn menus pop up 500 times on my phone. So I appreciate your call. I mean, it's insane, ladies and gentlemen. There's two types of people that look at porn and people that lie about it. But I wasn't looking at porn on my phone. I don't take phones on air that I look at porn on.
That's the...
And so I saw all that. I didn't respond to it. I mean, if I respond to half the attacks on me, but then they are ridiculous. But I'll say this. The Amazon ads, the Viagra ads, the weird non-plastic bag ads are taking my iPhone over. iPhones didn't used to be that bad like Androids. It's...
Jeez. Now, okay,
To
so...
follow the logic there for a second, because it's the logic. I'm doing quotes in the air. So, there's only two types of people. People who lie about not looking at porn on their phone, and people who look at porn on their phone. But I wasn't looking. So basically saying everybody looks at porn on their phone, and then immediately says, I don't look at porn on my phone. It's one of those, like, one of us always lies and one of us always tells the truth. Except just the liar. And so it's like, so then he says that, then he starts making more excuses about how everyone has porn pop up on their phones. And, yeah, just...
Well, it's like, what reporter's name is Maxima? I mean, yes, this is coming to you. This is reporter Maxima for CNN. I'm just like, Maxima?
Yeah.
I don't that is a bogus
I'm
excuse.
researching a new hire. Oh, boy.
Yeah, who wants to bet I just see this goes back to the Bill Hicks theory. I think Alex Jones does this on purpose. I think he's trolling.
I don't think he's Bill Hicks, but I think he does it on purpose.
I think he is. I think he's a troll master because, I mean, think about in the last 2 years how many times Alex Jones got his face on the nightly news.
Yep.
I mean, he should be someone that nobody knows. He should, because he is obscure.
I blame Piers Morgan.
He blames Piers for that? Could be.
Well, you remember that was like, no, including me, no one knew who Alex Jones was until he did that thing on Piers Morgan's show where he went on live on national television and basically said that if you try to take our guns, a new 1776 is going to commence, and basically like all but advocating for like violence in the streets and stuff like that on national television. And so then everybody noticed him, and so then that, like, you know, it's like his rivalry with Piers Morgan basically like created him as a national figure. Because I don't think, like, there's no, you know, I don't think Trump would know who he was if he hadn't like blown up to the point that he was getting talked about on Fox News and bigger news outlets.
That's interesting. Well, here's the other thing. So McCain passed away, and everyone wanted to do a tribute. Well, I mean, McCain's been a senator for 4 years. Before that, he was a decorated POW, Air Force pilot.
Podcast before this, we talked about the story and the torture he went through, and yeah. I talked about how, like, the first time I ever followed him was when he was running against George W. Bush back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And there was a big expose about him in Newsweek. And I remember, I probably was only like 15 or 16, but I remember there was a really weird looking photo of him where he was just sitting there awkward while someone was doing his hair for him. And then the caption below just offhand mentions that, yeah, Mr. McCain can't lift his arms above his head anymore because of the nerve damage he suffered from being like tortured as a POW.
No, he broke both his arms, both his legs, and they never really healed right.
Right.
Because they withheld medical attention for a couple of weeks before they finally gave him
So, yeah, and then we had, in a previous show here, we had a guest who is friends with a guy who, or spoken with a guy from Iowa, from the Air National, or was a pilot from Iowa, who actually was in the Hanoi Hilton with John McCain.
That's pretty amazing.
And, yeah, and was just telling me some more stories about it and stuff like that, and it was just like, this guy was like, he's like, wouldn't be a big fan of John McCain's politics, but he's like, I still think he's like an outstanding, great American hero, you know?
Yep, that's where
just based
I am
on
too.
that.
That's where I am too. I agree exactly. You know, in my family, it was during that time where he was with Sarah Palin, and I had my doubts because McCain was not my choice back then, that 2008 time. I was more in the Romney's camp. You know, it was 10 years ago. Give me a break. And that was always our big fight. But always went to, for my grandpa, I was like, I mean, he you know, what he suffered through, how he handled it, where he's gone. I mean, it is true. No matter what you think of McCain, up to the point they got in the Hanoi Hilton, because there's some arguments Jones makes it here in a really gross manner. I mean, how he handled that. He was offered to let go. You think about that. They basically said, we'll end the pain. You can go back home, because his dad became admiral.
Yep.
And he said, no, I'm going to stay here, because he knew he'd be used for PR. I'm like, that's amazing. How would you do that? Think about this. He was stuck in a 10 by 10 windowless room for years.
With a foreign enemy. And just think about that. You know, like, the whole, like, my dad's an admiral thing, that wouldn't get you, like, better special treatment. If anything, I'm guessing the guards were, like, way worse on him than anybody, just because pure, like, hatred of the son of an admiral, blah, 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 so it was extra juicy to, like, hit him and stuff, and just, yeah. War is terrible.
Yeah, I read on my podcast just a little tiny excerpt he wrote for Newsweek 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And just a first-person account. And he didn't write it. I mean, it was written years and years ago, but they published it again.
Yeah.
It's incredible, incredible. All right, so I know this sounds weird, but here I want you to listen to Alex Jones' high praise. No, you can click that link, or you can click the one above.
This one?
Yeah, because that actually has the video.
Okay.
And I say you can basically, after the first 3 or so minutes. You can
okay.
All right, hold on. This is a tribute. This is how you give a tribute to people. See, this is why I laugh at Alex Jones instead of feeling sorry for him.
Your truth, uncensored, Discover real dog
Pretty sure
video.
this is an ad. Oh, it's just a info.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, John McCain is dead. He's the man that Senator
probably should
McCain,
have
who ran
aimed
as
in
vice
better,
president
but-
on the Hillary Clinton ticket, called the Democrats leader. He's a man who generally voted with the Democratic Party. He was part of the Keating Five. The other four were all Democrat senators caught helping swindle $500 billion in the savings and loan crisis. And at that point, he became the darling of the Democrats because he helped cover it up famously. He even admitted that. In fact, he famously said that it would be on his tombstone what he did with the Keating Five. But because the Bushes were involved as well, and President Bush was the president then, Herbert Walker Bush was also involved in a junior capacity to McCain and the other Keating Five, he got off scot-free. So you can look up those quotes from McCain saying it will be on his tombstone. That said, I'm going to take the high road here on John McCain. John Sidney
Oh,
McCain.
you are, really?
August 29th, 1936, August 25th, 2018. He was only 3 days short of his 83rd birthday.
Sounds like he's reading a Wikipedia.
Because I've been on air 24 years, and McCain's been a hated figure with conservatives and nationalists. So I've had people that were in the Hanoi Hilton, famous
Here he goes.
naval aviators and Army aviators, you name it, who were in the Hanoi Hilton with him, saying that he was taken care of in the VIP area because he was basically a traitor, and they called him Songbird McCain. You need to know that his father was a famous admiral, head of the Pacific Fleet, his grandfather, an even more famous admiral. So he's a big blue blood like Robert Mueller or the Bushes or others. They come from railroad families, you name it, very elite. That said, I want to say that I want his soul hopefully to rest in peace. I don't wish death on anybody. I don't wish hell on anybody except maybe child molesters. And McCain was a tortured ticket. He was a pretty good naval aviator. He did flame out on the ship once and should have been court-martialed but got away with it. And he was a pretty good pilot overall. And he did fly over combat zones and had Scud missiles and SAM missiles shot at him, surface-to-air missiles. So, I mean, the guy was... obviously at some level had courage, and you could say, quote, a hero. The larger issue here is what he did later in his life. And he acted just like his father and just like his grandfather and the ones before him. Super elite families involved in
How
all
many
sorts of
times did
things,
Alex
cover-ups,
Jones get shot at by foreign
swindling in the Navy,
combat?
disappeared money.
I mean,
the McCains have been put in there because they are corrupt. So the real eulogy here, and by the way, the Democrats, before they decided they loved him the last decade, because he threw an election to Obama, they hated him. Type in McCain, Keating Five.
You are
McCain,
now undercutting
Hanoi Hilton.
your entire argument by saying
You'll
that
get
Democrats
the Arizona
loved him,
Republic.
Democrats
You'll get
hated
the New
him.
York Times. You'll get, but now it's all schizophrenic saying he's the best person on earth. So we're going to go over
All right, I think that's what
some of his real history here.
Yeah,
Because
I've heard enough.
Yeah, that's 3 minutes 11. So yeah, I said 3 minutes. Sounds about right.
Yep.
Isn't that now he says in that this is being nice to McCain. I want to know what's not nice. Goodness gracious, he called him Songbird McCain, traitor.
Ugh.
Wow. I don't know how much worse you could get from Songbird. I mean, that's the lowest of the low. I mean, wow. I mean, he was just short of calling McCain like a serial killer. Like I'm not sure he could have gone much lower than that. Just now you know why I don't feel sorry for Alex Jones. What a d-bag.
Yeah, and then his treatment of the Sandy Hook victims is just...
Oh yeah, that's right.
Holy
That is
cow.
right. He tried to turn that into a whole conspiracy and
victims. The families of victims have had to change their names and move.
yeah, didn't they they did have a successful suit. I don't remember where that
Yeah, I don't
suit
know
is
where
right
that's
now.
at, if that's an appeal or what, but I don't care. Even if they got $10 million, if you had a child die and then had to move and change your name after the child died because people were calling you in the middle of the night to tell you they were going to come kill you, I don't care. Whatever he has to pay them, it's not enough.
All right, so
Okay.
all right, so
Something funny. Let's go with.
let's first do the. I have 3 YouTube watches for you.
Okay.
Do the first one,
Okay.
then we'll do the second one, and then the third. Now, I mean, I'm against the censorship of Alex Jones. Here we go. Here's the clip
They consider
that is internet legend. this is internet legend. So if you don't know Alex Jones, and just would you be willing to play it?
Yep.
They didn't consider
We'll have
using
to
it.
suffer
They
a
used it
little
on
bit
our
more
trips.
inanity.
In Vietnam, they sprayed PCP on the troops, Jacob's Ladder. You take
Jacob's
PCP, some horse tranquilizer or something, they got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently.
I've seen this and I'm still like, what?
Brain chips in the troops. They give the troops special vaccines.
Brain
for
chips in the
nanotech to
trips.
already re-engineer
I
their
need a
brains.
shirt that says that.
Now there it is, the gay bomb.
The gay bomb.
Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're. What do you think?
Poor gay bomb.
Tapwater
Never
is? It's a gay
quite
bomb,
took off
baby.
as much as the frogs.
And I'm not saying people didn't naturally have homosexual feelings. I'm not even getting into it, quite frankly. I mean, give me a break. You think I'm like shocked by it, so I'm up here bashing it because I don't like gay people? I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
Oh, that is still one of the best. It's funny. That's 3 years old now, and it still makes me laugh in hysterics. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
This is a bit old, but
we'll take it.
it's yeah.
Let's
It's
end on
kind
a high note.
of it's the pogo way of making music.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the
See?
water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Crap gay. Frogs friggin' frogs. It's not funny. Gay frogs.
Pretty good, isn't it? Kind of ties up with our animal talk too. Look at that.
Won't you fight for your life? Gay frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like the frogs. Gay friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs.
Wow.
That was pretty funny. You like that?
That is amazing.
Have you seen that before?
I've seen. I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen like, there's some blog that's kind of like The Onion, but not really. That does funny videos once in a while that are really eclectic. They did a version of that, but it was not that one. That one was way better than the one I saw.
All right. So this is our last video. We
Oh,
got
boy.
through all animal videos. We got through the fish. We got through the pig chasing the police officer.
That was pretty.
That's important.
Special.
Actually, it was kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Still adorable though.
It was a cute pig. It wasn't like a mean pig.
No,
it was
he's a new pig. He's a new pig.
All right. So this is another one from Place Boing, and this one's really addictive. This one will stick in your head.
I want to see him kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. Succubus goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. Dump it, charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slopping blood on it. Especially up to his ankles. Trump charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slopping goblin vomit and slop. I'm not expecting him to not get dirty slops. Seeing goblins, appreciating goblins, succubus with goblins.
I wish I could make these kind of videos.
Me too.
It would be all I do.
I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin.
All right. It has a weird ending. You can kill it there, unless you want to watch Hillary Clinton pop out of a ball. Little jump scare. There you go.
That was awesome.
Wasn't that great?
That was great.
Yeah. If you're into that, do you know who Pogo is? P-O-G-O?
I think I've seen his videos before.
Pogo is awesome. Pogo's a favorite of mine. He does stuff like that, but he's like the top. He's like the best at it.
If you like Rick and Morty and you like those, there's a guy named Cherto.
How do you spell that?
As in like crescendo, but with chert.
So this is like CHERTO.
Yeah, I think that's actually how it's spelled, or really close to that. But he does that with every episode of Rick and Morty, and what's fun is that when the new seasons are going, he does it as the episodes come out. So literally like 3 days of anything Rick and Morty comes out, he puts out a music video with a whole like original song generated from the voice clips and stuff. Some of them are like really good songs too.
Oh man.
So you'll have to check that out.
Well, I had a lot of fun here today.
I did too. That
was
was awesome, and So please remember to keep your frogs from turning gay.
That's right. It's important. Once you have a gay frog, it's over.
Yep.
You have to get rid of it.
And to fear squirrels and bees.
And bees.
Nicotine-addicted bees.
Fear the squirrels. Pity the bees. They have problems.
This is true. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you all. Or you want to send us off?
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching the Happy Warrior program. If you wish to darken our doors, share comments, stories, anything, you can email us at pete@happy-warrior.net. That's Pete, P-E-T-E, at happy-warrior.net. Thank you for listening, and you have a great week.
Thank you for listening. The Happy Warrior Podcast, hosted by Peter Von Pischke, produced by Robert Mailing, a production of the Sioux Empire Podcast Network. Learn more at happy-warrior.net.
A production of the SiouxEmpire.com.